This is Beyond Normal, a Reese Link mystery, Book 5, written by Molly Black and read by Caroline. Prologue. Is this really where I'm supposed to go? Eliza thought, shivering as she stared up at the dilapidated house that was crouched on the edge of the hill like some type of tumor. The yard was overgrown, the curtains drawn, the driveway empty. In short, it looked as if nobody had entered the house in about a decade. A brisk autumn wind rushed down the hill, tearing leaves from the trees and snatching at Eliza's hair, which she hastily tied behind her head. She held the letter in her hand, up to the moonlight, reading the address on the invitation for what seemed the 100th time. Yes, the address is right. This is where I'm supposed to find the haunted house. Only, this didn't look much like a haunted house. An abandoned house, sure, but haunted? Hardly. When she received the letter in the mail earlier that week, she'd assumed it was just a flyer randomly stuffed into her mailbox by some enterprising individual in her neighborhood. Having been dumped by her boyfriend, Liam, the previous weekend, she'd thought a haunted house would be a fun diversion, and so she'd invited several friends to come along. At the last minute, however, those friends had flaked on her, forcing her to choose between an evening on the couch with her grey tabby and an adventure with some good-natured scares. Now, standing in front of the abandoned-looking building, Eliza wondered if she had made the right choice. Maybe it was all a joke to get me to come out here. Probably Liam's doing, or one of his cohort of track buddies. They're probably watching and laughing right now. The very thought caused her to itch with rage. She knew that beneath this rage was fear. Fear that she would again be made a fool of, as she had when Liam dumped her in the cafeteria in front of the whole school. The knowledge that he'd been making out with her best friend was bad enough, but for him to cast her aside like a toy he'd outgrown, in front of all her peers no less. It was enough to cause her blood to boil. She clenched her hands at her sides. Prank or no prank, she said to herself in a low, determined voice. I'm going in there, and if Liam's in there, I'll give him something to laugh at. Liam was a jerk, that much was beyond doubt, but he wouldn't physically harm her. He wasn't the type. Scaring her, though, and having a laugh at her expense, that fit him to a T. But Eliza wasn't going to tolerate it, not anymore. As she climbed the steps to the porch, she could feel her heart thumping in her chest. The wood creaked beneath her feet, and she winced, half expecting the porch to collapse. But it held, and she made her way to the front door. The door was slightly ajar, and Eliza hesitated, wondering if she should turn back. She resisted the urge to check the invitation yet again. This was the right address. She had already confirmed that much. Maybe the open door was just another creepy touch in...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?